Hey everyone, this is Buckshot. Here with me is Delmaj, and welcome to the first video of our new channel, SC2edu. It is a educational StarCraft channel for any player who wants to get better. I love watching StarCraft games on YouTube, but I realize that watching all these pro games, you don't really learn how to get better because they do such insane strategies that it really doesn't help the gold to silver level player. So this channel is a very community run. If you play StarCraft any level, send us your games, we will cast them and talk about how can you get better. Currently I am #1 in my Diamond League, so for all of you who think I might not know what I'm talking about, I have a general idea of what's going on. And here with me is my co-caster Delmaj.
Alright guys, I'm Delmaj. I am the gold level, platinum level player in the bunch. So our idea with this channel is that we're going to be giving you the perspective of the average player. So what we want to do with this is we just want, no matter what level you're in, you can send us your videos and we will just provide you with the tools to become a better player in a way that's possible. One thing we noticed when we watch the pros play is that a lot of the stuff they do, the average player can't do. Most people don't have enough actions per minute to pull off the strategies that the pros are doing, and most people just aren't good enough with their micro to pull off the things that the pros are doing. So the idea behind this is just to show people how they can become better, but in a way that's more accessible to the average player. And it doesn't matter what level you're in, whether you're copper or diamond. If you need help with something or you can't figure out a certain strategy or how to beat a certain strategy, just send us in the video and we will cast it for you and just tell you what we think you can do and just give you general advice.
Yeah. So this is a game I played back when I was in gold or platinum, and I like to call it the ghost push. It is mainly focused around just using 3 barracks and a ghost academy to get a small force of infantry, of marines and marauders and ghosts, and really just this is a very good strategy if you're facing a Protoss. This strategy basically took me from gold to diamond against all Protoss players, and very few could hold it off. Just because it really abuses kind of the fact that everyone thinks Terran is overpowered with their Marines and their Marauders. So if you notice some timing things, you want to get your orbital command at about 15 supply. Obviously I just didn't pan over it when I got it. Over on the Protoss side, he's getting a cybernetics core, and once he gets that, he should be getting a stalker. Right, there it is, right there. And something to note, I did scout with an SCV and he also scouted me. You want to see what your opponent is going. So I see a chrono boost going down on the gateway. He's obviously trying to get a stalker out to kill my scouting SCV, so I'm going to run him out of there and make sure he stays alive, and then chrono boosting his warp gate technology. Very common stuff going on the Protoss player's base. Something Protoss player could have done better is save that scouting pro, and not just he just kind of forgot about it. It just kind of sat there and died. You really want to try to save every worker you can and really keep any advantage you can in StarCraft is a positive one.
So as you can see, Buckshot here is getting his early engineering bay. The reason for this is because for a Terran player, your +1 upgrades are very important when you're going up against a gateway army. Without that +1, the Protoss forces, the Protoss gateway army can pretty much demolish any, with the +1 upgrade, the Terran army can demolish the Protoss army. And basically, you're going to see, if you notice, Buckshot's barracks were all naked until now. He just put down his tech labs and his reactor, and the reason for that is because he wants to get out these early Marines in case something like this happens. If the Protoss player were to send in a couple more stalkers for some kind of early push, you want to have those Marines there to be able to hold anything off. And then once you have a couple guys out, then you can start putting down your tech labs.
So on the Protoss side, he is getting his observer, very good to do, very common. Getting a second gateway after the robotics for the 2-gate robot strat. Sometimes you'll see the other way around, the 2 gateways will usually go down first, but getting the robotics out, very common for the scouting observer. If you notice, he's in his base and he has 1 sentry ready to go. The way Protoss hold off the early aggression is with this single sentry. You force field the ramp and block your opponent from getting in. And then if they are attacking, you just warp in another sentry for another force field while making stalkers and zealots really to keep you going. So this strategy though is not about attacking until you're ready. You'll notice the reason I got double gas is for an early +1. My stim packs are on the way, and I should be something I could have done better was get my combat shields going a little earlier. But also you want the gas because you will need them for the ghosts. And you can see our Protoss player is moving around the map, gaining map control, and taking the watchtower in between us. Very good, and also expanding as he does this. So this is the right thing to do. Something he could have done, he does have 400 minerals right now. He could be dropping an additional gateway for more unit production, or his robotics base, seeing he does have the robotics facility. Getting those early colossi out are very hard to deal with as a Terran player. So he opts for the 3rd gateway with his expansion. So pretty standard stuff so far. You can see his observer has now scouted my base. He sees the Ghost Academy. He sees my large force of Marines and Marauders. And really, at this point, if you're a Terran player trying to do this strategy, it's just a waiting game for those Ghosts.
If you notice, Buckshot here has his Mobius reactor on the way being researched. The idea behind this is you want to get this first before the ghosts come out, so that when your ghosts pop out, they're ready to go, they have the energy they need for the EMPs. So right when the Mobius reactor gets to around 40 production, you want to start training the ghosts, and you can see that Buckshot has started training his ghosts now. So he's timed this out pretty well, and these ghosts are going to be popping out just after the Mobius reactor finishes, and he's going to be ready to go as soon as these ghosts pop out, and he'll be ready for his first push.
So if you notice, I did scan, and something the Protoss player could have done better. He is at 5, or now he's keeping his macro a little better, but this gateway still hasn't been transformed to a warp gate, and hasn't been making units. And in StarCraft 2, even if you might not think it, every unit does count. So that is a couple stalkers more he could have had. And getting a second observer out, because I did kill the first one, really isn't the best choice. And here comes my push, and we're just going to pause it real quick. And you'll notice something I could have done better is my units are all in a line. Not a great idea, because this is just asking to get force fielded right here, and then that's a split, and then basically the Protoss army wins. If you were in this situation as a Protoss player, you get the sentries out, you split the army in half, and you kill off the 2 halves of the army and pretty easily win.
What ends up happening here, though, is this Protoss player is a little bit late on his force fields, and because of that, Buckshot is able to get both of his EMPs off. And if we play real quick here, we can see both of the EMPs go off. With the first EMP, we hit a sentry, a zealot, a couple stalkers. We got a good chunk of units in there. And with our second EMP, he's going to get a very large portion of the army, especially this Immortal here. If you notice, Immortals only have 100 shield, and an EMP, it takes out exactly that much shield. And an Immortal without a shield isn't blocking any damage, especially from those Marauders, and they're going to go down very quick. Also, a sentry without energy isn't going to be able to put up the force fields, and the only reason that this Protoss player gets any force fields up is because he has this sentry up in the top left corner here that avoids getting hit by the EMP.
So, as you can see, EMP is very effective. This strat, as I said before, really took me into Diamond League because of how easy it is to pull it off. You keep your decent amount of units grouped up here. You move out at about 60 supply, and you stim up your large force. You EMP. You get 2 EMPs off on the groups of the Protoss units, and then really the +1, which remember we researched very early, just really takes over. You don't even need to micro that hard, and as you can see, the force fields go down, but all of his units are at half health already, and just the Immortals instantly go down to the Marauders because they have no hardened shields, and I just run in here and it's a GG.
If you guys notice, up back at Buckshot's base, he laid down his expansion as he pushed out. This is always a good idea. If your attack was ever to fail, you want to start getting that economy rolling. The idea is that especially with the Protoss player having his expansion, but the idea is that if you push out, you can take out their army even if you don't end the game, and then you're both back to the start. But if they have a better economy, they're gonna build back their force a lot quicker, and especially that this guy had his robotics bay almost finishing. He was about to start getting some Colossi out, which usually doesn't end well for Terran unless you have some Vikings on the way.
Something this Protoss player could have actually stayed in the game. He had a sentry ready to force field the ramp to block me off, so I would have killed his expansion. But he could have stayed in this game, but at that point I'd be an expansion up. He would be trying to one base Colossus play and be very far behind already. So although possible to stay in this game, this is how effective EMPs are with a Stimpax, a very early Protoss. So this is our first game. I hope you enjoyed it. Send us your replays. We will cast them, and subscribe. Thanks.